For hip iso internal warm up, you're going to lay flat on your back. You're going to internally rotate your hip, and then you're going to actively think about continuing to get more internal rotation for 6 seconds. Then we're going to abduct our leg 30 degrees out. And same thing, we're going to internally rotate, actively trying to get more internal rotation or doing that movement, holding that for 6 seconds, going to the other side. Then we're going to flex our leg up 30 degrees, bring it out to the side 30 degrees, and then internally rotate. Actively internally rotating as we hold this position, switch sides, same thing, flex up 30, go out 30, internally rotate, actively internally rotate. Then we're going to flex up and internally rotate, holding for 6 seconds, actively thinking about getting more internal rotation. Same thing on our other side, flex up 30 degrees, internally rotate, hold that position. Then we're going to flex up and abduct, so bring our leg across and then internally rotate, thinking about actively internally rotating as we hold this position, and then we will do the other side. Next, what we'll do is we'll bring our knees up so that our knees and hips are at 90 degrees, and then we're going to internally rotate, which means bringing our leg out to the side and holding that for 6 seconds, and then going to the other side, bringing our hips and knees to 90, and then internally rotating at the hip, holding that position, trying to get more rotation. Then what we're going to do is you're going to internally rotate our legs, and then from there we're going to side bend our upper body as far as we can to one side, and then that side will actively think about internally rotating, trying to get more internal rotation at the hip. Then we will switch sides, side bend as far as we can to one side, and actively internally rotate at the hip. After that, we will flip onto our stomach. Once we get onto our stomach, we're going to bend our knee up to 90 degrees, and then we're going to internally rotate our hips, so bringing our foot out to the side. And I think it's easier if you put your hands on your hips, because you want to try to keep your hips as level as possible. We don't want you rolling over to a side to try to get more internal rotation. We just want you to try to get to your end range and then actively think about pushing to your end range. Then we're going to bend our knee up, internally rotate, and then lift up into extension. And while in extension, think about trying to internally rotate. So once you get up, even if you lose a little bit, try to think about going back to that internal rotation.